Hello and welcome back to Stranded Deep. Last time we were working on this archipelago, I guess, kind of island, feature of the sea maybe. We created a blue hole, so if you haven't been watching the other episodes, if I turn the ocean off, we have created not an island, more of an anti-island, so the interior of the hole is in fact lower than the exterior of the hole, which is kind of what you would expect in a real life when you get these features in the sea. However, because the way Stranded Deep is, well, the islands kind of sit in the void and the sea sort of spreads out above them. So we can't create a true blue hole, nor can we put caves and things in the bottom. But what we have done is punched a hole in the world, like the fist of an angry god, and then we have spent the last episode we were expanding the island and trying to keep the beaches and all the slopes and things fairly smooth. Although I do notice there's a ridge just there. So as you move around in sort of the 3D space, you'll notice things appear and disappear. It's just one of those things. We'll go around, probably, I dare say, smooth everything off once more. Now, what I thought we could do this episode is to carry on with the expansion, I guess. It's all very well creating a water feature, and we will throw wrecks and various bits and pieces. I have a few ideas for what we can do with the actual hole itself to make it diveable and to make it quite interesting. It looks very small here, but if we turn the water back on, suddenly everything looks a little bit bigger, no? And we dive in and let's turn the brush away. Yeah, it's very, very deep. It is a very, very long way down. So if we power out of there, because the camera really wants to move fast, what we were doing is we're working on the surface to begin with, because if people are going to come to this island, the first thing they'll want to do is put down a water still, and then they will need to fuel it. So if we take that into account, what we'll do is we'll just give them some fuel for their water still. There we go. Probably about 20 or 30. No. I'm messing. I'm merely messing. Now I need to get rid of all of these yucca plants. Oh, please, yucca, go away fast, go away now. Good. Interestingly, if you're watching this as it comes out, or as these go out, the experimental version is now on 0.45. So not the main version, but the experimental version is 0.45. And they have restored the marlin animal and the whale animal. So if we look here, patrol marlin. So marlins and things are here. Let's just grab the marlin and just show you guys what we are talking about. I think it's one of the sailfish, right? Terrain objects. There we go. We'll just have a little look. Yeah. This guy's out to ruin your day. He's not a happy chap. One of the enemies, if you will, in the game. Apparently, this guy's been restored. You usually find them around the, I guess, the sea forts. Wherever you find great whites, you usually find marlin, and also not the great white. Let's get rid of you. Yes. The tiger. Let's just grab one of these guys. So, according to the images, they are no longer sandy coloured. They've changed them to sort of a grey dapple, which would indicate an older tiger, because the younger tigers are actually sand coloured. And I guess the older ones, they go grey over time. So this would be a juvenile female, maybe? So yeah, it's some interesting happenings going on the experimental branch. We'll try and click on the actual marlin before we delete it, not part of our world. So last time we created a little offshore island, put some rocks around it to dress it, because you need a bit of landmass. You can't just make an island out of rocks. As soon as a storm comes along, it'll just wash over the island. It sort of gives us something to plant plants in and on. Interestingly, according to the patch notes for 0.45 experimental, ficus trees in 0.44, which is the current main build, do not protect you from UV. Which kind of explains why we were getting sunburnt when I was trying to do the update episode. Right. I thought this episode, what we could do is go around and put in little features and various bits and pieces. Yeah, the kind of island around the ring has got a little bit bigger. We did just create an island and then punch a hole through it. What I was thinking was we could get rid of these markers and replace them with something else. Rocks do a good job at being rocks, but we'll get rid of this. What we'll do is we will throw something else in. So if we go to rocks, rockety rocks, we'll find a big rock, and everyone's just like, oh, you've just done exactly the same thing. You've just replaced one rock with another rock. Why did you do that? Calm your pants. Yeah, we're going to put some trees and stuff around it. So what we'll do is we will grab a brush. That's not a brush. That's a brush. But we're going to set the size. Not the size right down. Change the amount. In fact, the target. Okay, we're going to get the target value from just this little bit of water here, and then we're just going to make sure the amount is all the way down. Just tap here a few times until we get a bit of water show through. Here we go. A little bit of water show through. Nice. Get rid of the bubbles. Hit smooth. Crank the amount up. Remember that we've done that because I bet you will forget. And what'll happen is before long, I'll come back and I'll use the brush again, and then, bad things will happen. Okay, cool. So we've got a little bit of water, almost imperceivable small amount of water. If we click on here and change the time, you can kind of see it now. There you go. That's what we wanted. Just a little bit of wetness for the beach. Ooh, but why do you need the wetness for the beach? I'm thinking the beach is already pretty freaking wet, no? Oh. Yeah, it just gives a rowboat wreck something to sit in, so there's going to be a little bit of water there. Press T, knock it down into the sand a bit more. R, rotate it. So we'll just have it so it's like sunk into the sand. It may generate loot, it may not. We don't really care, at least I don't really care at this point. All I'm looking for is decoration, so we can have that there. We'll do the same thing with this, kind of rotate it a little bit. So is that transform? Yeah, I guess it's transform and not scale. Maybe. See, we've got, I'm guessing this is transform, rotate, and scale. So that's TR, but scale is not an option you can have. The button is there, but it's grayed out. I'm guessing the developer version of this would have scale as an option. So you could probably put an object into the world, like a crab or something, and scale it up, and then you could have boss battle. But unfortunately, I would imagine that although you'd scale up the crab, you might not scale up the hitbox. And it would still only do 1 damage if you got near it, so... Crab. Tiny crab. No, yeah, we need to go back to trees. We need to... what we're doing is we're just adding little features. The island is going to be really quite narrow and quite small anyway. It's going to be kind of a tricky thing. So if we go down here, it might even be quite tricky to navigate into there. But what we need to do is create an area that people can sit around, and they can set up enough stuff so they can survive while doing all the fun stuff. And by fun stuff, I mean diving into the sea and swimming around on the bottom. Hopefully avoiding things like lionfish and sea snakes, which are now in the palms. That's what I was looking for. So we'll put a rock in. So we're going to throw some palms in. Palm 1's quite a big palm, so we'll throw that in. Do a little rotate. Palm 1's very big, in fact. Let's get rid of it. Yes. I don't want you there. I want you to be there. Good. Just a little rotate so they're not facing the same way, and they are, in fact, facing... So all I want to make sure is that the leaves on the trees aren't kind of the same. So if I would just drag in a load of palm trees, it looks like someone's just cloned these things because they're all facing the same direction and they're all the same height. So just give them a little rotate and maybe just change the heights. Just add palm 1 or palm 2. Don't ever stick loads of trees together unless you're trying to recreate Los Angeles. In which case, go nuts. That place is weird. Okay, so we are going to need some trees. Where are you? Where are you, Ficus? I want you. The broken Ficus. It's not cultural appropriation. I am actually an Irish citizen. Short story short. It's not really a story. I'm an Irish citizen. Dad was born there. So way before you might know that the UK is leaving Europe. And actually, before then, I had my passport way before that. It just happens that it's now more than ever quite handy to have both passports. Oh, you can have two passports? Yes, you can. Oh, believe me, you can. So what I'd like is this, and I'd like this to actually kind of lean over the beach. There we go. To create a little bit of shade over this feature. So I just want to move this around, making sure that we are getting the required or desired effect, which is sort of a not that. Let's go up. Let's go up through the island mesh, and then because the camera is suddenly away from something, it wants to reach escape velocity. No. The desired effect is a canopy and a little bit of shade around this little what would you call this? Vignette, maybe? Is it a vignette? Just this little slice of stuff. So what I'm not going to do is throw in a load of foliage right now, but what I am going to do is go in and create these little tiny scenes. It's actually quite nice to go away and leave this for a bit and just let your subconscious work on it, because your subconscious is like, oh, you know what would be really nice? If I could get a little thing, we'll get some rocks and throw it around the bottom of a tree, and then it looks splendid. I'm thinking that it look quite delightful, no? Yeah, so that's kind of cool. I like putting rocks and stuff around the bases of the trees. It just kind of breaks up the ground a little bit and adds some interest. You can poke them way down into the ground, which is kind of cool. Big rocks, different sizes. So what we'll do is we'll just hit rotate. And it also gives people something to jump on. If you give people something to jump on, climb, or fall into, they love it. You put a mountain on your map, people will try and climb to the top of it. You put a hole in your map, people will try to get to the bottom of it. The players are just like that. Players will always try and go to places where you either didn't think people could go, or they will try to go try to get to places where you've obviously tried to make it out of bounds, because that's what people do. I'm sure at the edge of the world where you do have this line of yellow boys, people have gone beyond that and will carry on going. I've heard rumors that beyond the line of yellow boys in the main game, if you carry on going, physics reaches a very strange state, and you end up just flying off the raft and maybe crashing into the sea and being gobbled by sharks. Although I've never tried it, because as soon as somebody said, "Ooh, maybe there's a great white out there waiting to munch your face up," I was like, "Nah, mate, I'm out." So good. So we've got this plant. It's got quite a healthy stem on it, but it's decoration. It doesn't really serve too much for purpose other than to break up this area of ground. So we have a rock, we have a tree, we have this sort of, I guess, little peninsula bit. It's not truly a peninsula because we've got a whacking great hole next to it, but it serves to, so the rock serves to break up the beach, and the plant serves to break up the rock, if you see what I mean, which is why the banana plant's really good, because the big leaves hide bits of the rock. The trouble with the banana plant is if you kind of step on it, your character will clip around quite strangely. It's not a game-breaking bug by any means. It's just something to be aware of if you happen to be walking through a field of banana plants. Cool. I wonder if they're going to put the bigger banana plants in, like the full-size bananas. Oh my god! Banana plants are in the game. Why are we not eating nanas? Why? That would be so cool if you could just go in and just eat some nanas. The other thing we can do is probably put in some fruit. Fruit would be nice. Let's find a Kukura tree. Okay, let's do that. And what we can do is we can just leave it at this strange angle because it's decided to snap to something. Then we can just move it upright. Most plants will always want to be upright. Water will always want to be level. So tippity top tip, if you're taking a picture and there is a sea or a lake in the background, no matter how the land is or the people are in the image, always make sure the sea is level. Because that's how it is in real life. Cool. This is clipping through that plant. And I don't want that. I don't want the leaves to be clipping through leaves. I don't want the leaves to clip through each other. It's just a little thing, but it's a little thing that I'd rather... So what I'm looking for is it not to clip through the rock or to clip through any other item. If it's kind of close, it's not too bad. But anything that can kind of break immersion, I guess, is not what I want. I want to hit R. I do want to rotate this around because for some reason it's at an odd angle. Yeah, okay. I mean, if it's just touching the ground, like a leaf, tip of a leaf is touching the ground, I'm not so worried about that. That's the wrong button. I want the blue toggle. Let's get the blue toggle in there. Let's get the red one. Just going to move it over so that we can just kind of get this in. Let's touch in, don't matter. I think that's real nice, real nice. Probably even move the rock in a little bit as well. Let's do it. Do it. You can actually have plants and stuff growing out of the rocks. It's not a deal breaker. Okay. There we go. Cool. So we have this little clump of greenery next to the entrance to the island. So we had a rock as a marker. Boop. So the rock as a marker is good. If you're sort of bouncing on a boat towards this thing, if you're going this way, you're going to be struggling with the waves anyway. And you see this rock and you're like, oh, okay, well, that's a win. But you're coming along and you're looking at this and you're saying, I want to go in there. You can immediately see with these two trees, oh, actually, you can go around there and get onto the inside. And it's a little bit more subtle. You still have the indicator that, this is the end of the land. It's a very definite end of the land. But it's not just, here's a cliff or here's a rock. I do want to not have too many tall things, although I might put some pines in, especially when the greener areas, because I do like the forest effect that has. And I know I said, well, I'm probably not going to put in lots of trees and stuff, but having the pines in at this point might help kind of visualize the rest of the island. And it's good. So again, it's a thing. You go away, you think about this, you subconscious think about it. So if we do put some pines in, pine 1, pine 2, 3. Let's just throw some in anyway and just see what happens. They are going to be big. So again, we just need to make sure these things are actually in the ground. So I'll just move it down a little bit. We could probably go with quite a high density of pines, if I'm going to be honest. Is that going to be a terrible thing? I think it's actually quite good to have a lot of greenery around this thing. It does mean that people can build houses and like little huts or whatever, but you also have the density, the greenery there to create interest. And it's one of the philosophies is try and block player line of sight to things. How many of these can we put in? I think 6. We haven't really done much with this side of the island. We probably need to smooth this off a little bit. Because this sort of foamy stuff always makes me a little bit nervous when it comes to, hey, is the water mesh going to get messed up? Remembering that we've set the amount slider up and the amount slider is inherited between all of the brushes because, that's why would it not be? That's the wrong thing. So we'll smooth this back and see if that pops. Is it going to pop? Or is it just going to remain as... Oh, there it goes. So it did. It sort of came back and it popped. It wouldn't be... I don't know if it's too bad. I don't know what the conditions are. Let's crank the amount up. for the foam to actually exist. I'm guessing it's saying, this is the end of the water mesh. Beyond here lies monsters. More monsters lie here. Right, so that's fairly well done. There's a bit there. It's still, that still is the smoothing tool. So, but because we're right on the edge of a really big hole, it's going to try and smooth into the hole. So let's not allow it to do stuff like that. That's silly. But I do want to get this sorted before putting greenery on it. You're gonna pop. It thinks about it for a while, and it sort of does a little tweak of the mesh and goes, "Ooh, yes, I'm thinking I should probably do something about it now." See this little foamy bits. You gonna go little foamy bit? No. Maybe. No. No. All right, push you in a little bit more. This is that's gone. Okay, let's do the same thing here. It's going to think about it. Oh, there it goes. So all that sort of weird foamy stuff is gone. Oh, except for that. You gonna go? You're gonna go. Yep. Nope. Oh, pain in my butt. Really is. Okay, we'll have to flatten that out a little bit more. To be fair, it's not too bad. To be fair, the game probably wasn't designed with the idea of smashing a hole all the way through to Cthulhu's bedroom. It's definitely a thing that it's going back to the if you build it, people will climb it. If you dig it, people will jump down it. Philosophy. They probably didn't think people were going to try and build a bloody great hole in their maps. Come on. Smooth away. Disappear. We're cranked all the way up. Why is that not doing anything? Let's take out some of the height of the island. Maybe it'll be fine. Maybe. Don't know. That's still. It doesn't matter. We could be there forever, so we'll just run the smoothing tool over the top of the island. Probably on the edge, actually, because... set the size down a little bit, because it's looking a little bit steep on this side of the island. What am I doing? I'm clicking the wrong thing. Yeah, it's looking a little bit steep. You jam a raft onto that, and you're going to be in for a bad time. So what we don't want people to do is sail up there on their big old rafts and then bounce off the island. That would be a travesty. That would be tragedy. That would be hilarious. Granted. So if we come here down to the edge of the island, let's see, it's still fairly freaking steep. Still fairly steep. I want it to be a lot less steep than that. But then we're going to we might take away too much. Good. And this is still the smooth tool. This isn't actually, we're not raising and lowering anything at this point. We are literally just pushing, trying to equalize the height of everything. So that's good. Right, let's see what it looks like now by turning off the water. Cool. It's not actually too bad. It's not too bad. I think we might be able to leave it. I think we'll get away with it because this thing is essentially a giant hole. People will just be like, you know what, I'm kind of expecting some weirdness over here. It's like the Bermuda Triangle. Less triangle and more hole. Right, okay, cool. Let's go back to putting pines down. So we've got a bit of grass over here. I think we might need to do something here, but we can drop this down. We'll use 2 of the pines over here. Right, maximum limit reached. There are 5 pines, so I'm reckoning there should be 15. I know if we click off and click back on, we can put 6th in. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to limit it to 15 for 2 reasons. I don't know why there is an item limit for these pine trees. And in the past, we've kind of squeezed in more pines because they are, delightfully useful structural items. But At the same time, I don't know if it has an effect on the billboard system. So the islands you see on the horizon, whether it affects the rendering time and stuff of those, that could be an issue. And it could be an issue that we're contributing to, so I don't really want to want that. I'm going to consciously leave that kind of area open a little bit here. So we're putting tall trees next to short trees. So that's 1, 2. We'll put another one over there. Let's have you here. Okay. But I do want sort of the kind of forest effect. So why don't you throw you there? Good. And you're not touching the ficus? No, you're not. Good. Right, so that's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no, it's 4. Alright, okay. We can throw another one here, I suppose. Have it on this side of the island. Which way? It doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter. Yeah, let's put you there. Cool. So item limit reached. Click off, click on. Oh, the item limit is bypassed by 1. You can put a maximum of 6 down. So I don't think we're going to do that. What we are going to do is put this here. We'll come back and rotate them a little bit. We'll do another one here. This is actually a prime candidate for a little ficusy rocky thing. Cool. But so what did we do? We put 2 over there? No, we put 1 over there. It's not going to be too bad if you have plenty of trees together. I'm going to limit them to keep them on the grass, as if material from the trees is creating soil, which it kind of does. Soil is, it's all plant matter. Might switch a couple of these guys around. You might have to come over here. I'll do it. And then, because I've moved you, make sure you are actually in the ground. Let's move you over there. So, yeah, if you do move a tree around, just make sure it's actually buried in the ground itself. Otherwise, you'll have a flying tree, which will be really embarrassing. It's just be like, oh no, I did not mean to put the tree that quite like that. I was hoping it would be in the hole. Also, if you end up smoothing stuff, you might end up with some flying trees. It's not the end of the world, let's be honest. The trees, to be honest, the trees are, because they're so big, you don't really look at them close up. So you can get away with lots of trees of the same size being together. I did say I want to leave that area open though. So what we're going to do is move this. Where should we move you? I want this foresty feeling. Let's move you here. Yes, good. As if you were an outlier. Yes, good. You can topple them as well. Nice thing about pine trees is you can just make them fall over. I'm not going to do it here. We've done it before, but I'd like to not do it here. So we'll pop you in the ground. So we've got this lovely foresty thing going on. We'll continue over here and we'll throw another couple in. So let's do it here. Oh, we've only got... So we've reached the maximum limit for pine trees. Oh no, that is not a brilliant thing, no? No, it's not too bad. Not too bad. Right, so we'll move you out a little bit. And by moving you, do we suppose any of the base? No. Okay. Hit R. Rotate at random. Just rotate randomly in all directions. Except, well, you can rotate it horizontally if you want. Not a problem. You can even have it stuck in the ground. Oh, it's kind of interesting that they're not rotating perfectly on their axis. Interesting. Well, interesting to me anyway. Okay, so we're just going to give these a little rotate so they don't, all the leaves don't look like they're all pointing in the same direction. Again, it's a little thing, but it's a thing that would bother me. It would bother me. It would bother me. So we'll just give you a rotate, you rotate, you a rotate, and you a rotate. Good. Nice. Now, do I want that is the question. Is that something that we want to keep? in spirit of a blue hole, you probably wouldn't have pine trees there. In the spirit of Stranded Deep, you probably want something interesting if you were going to be camping out here. So, yes, it's definitely, yeah, I do like this. And I'm leaving this area open for a reason. And the reason is that if people want to build a house there, or if people want to put a shelter there and a fire and stuff, then it's a nice place to do it in amongst the trees. So you could be here and you'll get the light of the fire and everything against the trees, and it's actually really quite pleasant. And that then serves as a backdrop. Being the largest side of the island, this would be not as large, but yeah, I mean, you could do the same thing here. Oh, we got the camera stuck in a tree. Oh well, have fun with it. Oh, it didn't release and just fly away. Huh, interesting. Most interesting. Good. So what we're going to do is we need to add more features. Why is this not smooth? The camera is close to it. It's not a level of detail thing, so we'll hit up terrain. We will hit up smoothing. We'll remember that the amount has been cranked all the way up, and the size of the brush is huge. Now we can smooth this off. What is going on here? Why was that like that? I honestly don't know. But it's those little things you need to look out for. You would normally just pop this thing in your game, and then you would do a little play test, run around looking for gaps in the mesh, gaps in the water, anything that can be a problem, really. And then come back into the editor and fix them, because that's what people do. Cool. And we are going to hit up objects. So at the end of here, we're going to throw in, I think, probably another ficus. Hello. Because I do like the shape. And how are we going to do this? We can do this, yeah, like that's probably pretty sweet. I think it just happens to be the shape of this particular tree, or tree cluster, is quite pleasing. It allows you to make overhanging, have these branches overhanging, have this sort of shadows cast everywhere, which is kind of cool. Click on terrain and objects, you will actually release whatever object you've got selected. So if you don't know if you've got a rock in the background selected and you want to delete something, hit up terrain, then hit up objects, and you'll release it. So we can hit up rocks. We're going to do the same thing again. We're just going to grab some big rocks. Big rocks. And we are going to press T, grab this, move it down. Once again, just doing the same thing, really. Breaking up the beach a little bit by pressing T, grabbing that, rotating that in. We can always raise up land and drop things down. We're not sort of set hard with the terrain itself. We can always manipulate the terrain. So we've just moved the rock, we've let the rock go, and suddenly the ficus tree is selected. Got to be a little bit careful of that, because that, you might spend ages rotating something around, manipulating it, and then you go to move something else, and your carefully positioned piece is now no longer in the position you thought it was, and now something bad has happened. So we're just gonna rotate that a little bit more, because I'm looking at this area here at the back, where it's just touching the ground. Bearing in mind that there'll be grass texture for people with powerful enough machines on the green areas, so that's going to be quite cool. Sorry about it's a little bit scrubby with a repeated texture. I'm not sure if there will be grass there, but we can always raise that up if that's going to be a problem for us. We are going to grab another rock and just throw it in behind. So keeping the idea of a pattern going. So hey, we've got some rocks around the ficus, and it's also a place where you can find tiny picture of the queen. No, it's also a place where you can find a medicinal or food plant. So what are we going to throw here? Kura. It was koala, wasn't it? Koala. There we go. So we'll throw in a little koala shrub. So the thing is, if you create little patterns, say here's a rock on the shore, And around here, you'll find baby rocks. So it's just like you go into items and you put rocks around rocks. And you put fruit trees around ficus trees. People will come to your island and they'll be like, oh, I need some food. Oh, I found a tree and there's a ficus tree and there's a little fruit tree beneath it. If you keep doing that, the players will learn, whether it's conscious or not, whether it's a conscious thing or not, they'll learn to look for the ficus trees to get the fruit. And they'll learn to look for shoreline rocks to get stones. So there's a little tippity-top tip. There's always about the top tips. Tippity-tops. Top tips. I don't know where I'm going with that. Driftwood pile. Yeah, so before we put anything that can be just used up or float away, we'll get the features in. This is good, but we have an entrance here which needs something. Definitely palm trees? Palm trees. Let's get rid of the rock. Yes, I don't want you. You have served your purpose, and now you may go. There's that foam again. What is the foam doing? Oh, alright. Smooth, make sure the size is down. Remember that we've sort of messed around with the amount slider. Okay, we touch this and see what happens. It's popped away a little bit. So I'm just kind of smoothing in. We might have to get rid of some of this altitude here. Alright. It is a never-ending task with this smoothing, no? Now let's crank the amount up. In fact, let's crank it all the way up. Crank it up and rip the knob off. Let's see what happens. Is that going to... Is that going to change? Is it going to change? Yes, it did. Okay, cool. So get rid of that stupid foam. And then we introduced it back again. But are you going to change? Are you going to change? Foam. Foam, are you going to go? Are you going to go? Yes, you did. Okay, cool. Yeah, the foam can be bad if it doesn't go... This little thing. We can always come back and just put little rocks or something where if there is a gap in the sea mesh, we're not too worried, as long as we get the bulk of it sorted. So cool. We'll get some of this smoothed out, and then we will... Well, that's quite good for another bit of greenery. This is kind of flat here. This is worryingly flat here. If we smooth, is that going to pull out? No, that's going to push that down. Okay, fine. So I think it's because we created this little cut through in. And it's quite deep because, yes, the game is probably going to put rocks and piranhas and empty cat food tins and stuff in that little cut through, because that's what the game does. The game's like, I know you spent ages creating an island, but I'm thinking the seafloor is manned, so I'm going to put a load of stuff there. So we're going to need objects. I like the way we're dancing, literally dancing around the hole, creating the island before we create what's going in the hole. And believe me, what's going in the hole is going to need to be some sort of something fun for people to swim around. We're also going to need to put some medicinal stuff in there. So what do we do the other side? We threw a rock in and then we threw some trees around. So I don't see why we can't do the same thing. That's a very, very big rock. That is also a big rock. That's into... I don't know what's going on there. That's good. Okay, let's rotate it around, find a nice, interesting and smooth, preferably side. Oh, there's a bit of texture stretching there. Huh. Drag it into the ground. And have it sort of pop out a little bit. Yeah, why is that texture on that rock a little bit weird? I don't know. Not sure. Not entirely sure. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. So... Good. We'll do this, and we will find a tree. Tree. Do you want to be in the game? Tree? Hello? Let's go with pine 1. No, not pine. We said we were going to not do pine. It's palm. Similar to a pine tree, but very different. Palm 1 is what I was thinking of. Good. You can only rotate these, so we'll just give it a little rotate as we put it in. Is that an LOD thing? Do you think? Why is this very flat? Oh, that's very interesting. It's kind of square. What is going on? So it's circular at the base, and then it goes square. I reckon that's a... Whoop. Goodbye, camera. I reckon that's a level of detail thing. I was looking at them earlier and thinking, oh, well, they do look a little bit low poly. So in the map editor, they're a bit low poly? Poly being polygon. Number of polygons used to render the object. Bear in mind that a player could come along and just chop these down. But at that point, they've already served their purpose, so why not? Just allow your players to chop them down. Oh, rocks probably create a problem for people building structures. Although I think in the experimental there was a note that said that you can build closer to cliffs now. I'm not entirely sure what that means because we haven't actually played in 0.45 or anything beyond 0.44. So it could mean that don't know. Literally don't know. Could mean that everyone gets Jaffa cakes for tea. I'm not entirely sure Jaffa cakes are cake, but hey. I don't like the way that that's like that. I think we're going to have to push this in a little bit just on this edge. Working in 3D space, it's like every time you move the camera around, you see something a little bit odd or a little bit that, needs to change. The reason these areas are so high is that we want the grass texture, and the grass texture only appears when you've raised up the terrain beyond a certain height. So that's the thing. I do like this sort of double hill, like really low hill thing we've got going on with a little sort of walk way through. I think putting some stuff on here and here and allowing people to walk in between them is going to be sweet. I think actually I want to encourage that. So we'll find a big rock. Big rock 2? I think that's kind of a long... Yes. So encouraging people to go where you want them to go is going to be tricky because they'll want to walk up and jump on things and do, player-related stuff. What we can do is let's get rid of that. It's not. No, I want you to go, please. Okay, cool. So if we R, rotate this around, so we get sort of the edge. T. That's better. R again. Yeah. Let's just rotate it until it looks cool. Get it in the ground so it's a subtle little sign, a little hint. We'll do the same thing over here. Not with you though. Probably not with you. We used you a moment ago. In fact, we could probably just hit C, clone that. Good. Bring you out of the ground, pop you in there, and then just rotate you all the way around so you have a different shape and a texture. It's T. So C is clone, by the way. If you have an item and you want to get a copy of it, just hit C and it'll clone it. We're going to need to be a little bit careful here, or a little bit tricksy. Let's be tricksy. So we can get a... Can we get that cut off so we can use one rock and it has two distinct areas? Probably. I don't think it's steep enough. Is the ground. It's not really doing what I'm wanting it to do. Alright, let's get rid of that. Because there are in fact small rocks. Oh yeah. We forgot about the small rocks. No we didn't. Well I didn't. I know about the small rocks. They're really quite useful. They're rocks. But small. I think that's the defining feature of the small rocks. Like rocks, but small. So we can do this, and we'll do this. And if we rotate that, rotate that over, let's rotate it back again because it's got a weird groove on the bottom. Rotate it over to the side. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Right, okay, so we'll put that, push that in a little bit, pull that over, and then what we can do is, so we've got this cool little walkway now. Mm-hmm. I like where this is going. I really like where this is going. We will find the ficus. Ficus tree. Oh, it's a ficus tree, but it's got no number. All right. Okay. Cool. And what I'd like is, so this one leans over. I don't want to line them up exactly the same. What I do want is, let's hit R, rotate it, T, down, because that root is sticking out of the ground and I don't like that. And there we go. And then we can just kind of R, rotate you over a little bit. Ah, look at that. Yes. Oh, yes. Little set piece there. Cool. That is real nice. So we'll just push that back a little bit. So yeah, all the roots are in the ground. Good. We'll keep our... I'll tell you what. We will keep our... Let's put aloe vera down there. Yeah, let's put aloe vera down here. So we'll keep the theme of, hey, you want to find something cool, go to a ficus. By putting something cool next to the ficus. We'll put it on the sand. There we go. So there's aloe vera. Aloe vera promotes localized healing if you rub it on your dermal layer, I think. I think that's what it does. I don't know if you ingest it, whether it promotes healing as well. Don't ask me, I'm not a doctor. I know a doctor, but I'm not a doctor. I would never take medical advice from someone off the internet. Just like, oh, I've got this problem and kind of a little bit leaky. Yeah, you should see a doctor. I do not want to see a doctor. I've seen them before, and they tell me I should stop eating Castrol GTX. It is not good for me. It kind of only exacerbates the leakiness. Ugh. I never drink engine oil. Oh my word, that is just the worst. Like I said, never take advice from anyone off the internet. That's my tippity top tip. All right, so we've got this lovely little plant in. I might put something else there because it's not a very dense plant. Just kind of trying to maneuver the camera. Just for a pile would be kind of cool there. There's a bush. There is a bush. We can actually put little ficus bits in here, can't we? Yes, we can. And these are bits that can be chopped down. Yeah, these were actually a really nice addition. Little ficus branches. They're more baby ficus trees, but you can just put them in there with the big boys. So people can come along and actually harvest bits off the ficus, but you can also use it to create a slightly denser foliage, I guess. Nice. Oh, yes. There we go. And if we look, it kind of blends in with the tree. Yeah. I think that might be a bit too thick, that bit. So we'll just get rid of that and go to ficus 1. Oh, yes. That's infinitely better. Cool. So as long as the end's in the ground, which it is, we have consumable bits. Let's click on terrain and objects so we don't have anything selected. So consumable bits for our ficus. I think I might get rid of that one. Yep, that is the right one. I was going to say, oh, how do you know if it's the right piece? Well, give it a little rotate. Nothing that you can't undo. And then you'll know if it's the right piece. Okay. Oh yeah, no, that's much better. The smaller pieces seem to work much, much better. So we'll add some more bits and pieces to the island, but it's starting to look like an actual proper island now, which is nice. It's actually much more. Do you ever get that time when you start a sentence and you think, where am I going with this sentence? No, the more stuff you add to the island, so we've added a bunch of stuff to the island. What I'm going to do now is save it, go away, let my subconscious work on it now that everything's been a bit updated. There are a few things like this side of the island is very much neglected. This side of the island has a lot of stuff on it, and we have a better idea of what people might do here. And because of that, if people want to build a house or if people want to build a shelter, we can then come back and accommodate that in another session. What I'll probably end up doing is adding another offshore island or two on this side of the island, so it gives people stuff to do over here, and maybe we could put some other resources over here as well, so that people actually have to be here, but here's where the land is. And then obviously we need things for people to do actually in the hole itself. So there's an awful lot of work to do on a very limited area of land. This is very much a challenge, and I believe that is the shipwreck down in the hole. So yep, there's a shipwreck down in the hole. There's perspective for you. You know what? I think I'm gonna stop there. So yeah, if you're liking this, definitely leave a little like, leave a subscribe, leave a comment if you're up to it. And you know what? I'll catch you next time.